Have you ever stopped and wondered what's really going on grammatically when you hear someone call out a name in Arabic? You know, it's way more than just trying to get someone's attention. It's actually a super precise system with its own set of fascinating rules. So let's dive right in and break down this whole art of calling someone or nida in Arabic.
So what is actually happening when you put that ya, that O sound, in front of a name? It's not just a random thing. It actually triggers a specific grammatical change. It's all part of this beautifully structured system. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how it all works.
All right, so here's the game plan. We'll start by defining the key players. Then, we'll walk through the three big rules: what to do with simple names, how to handle nouns that have the definite al, and what happens with possessive phrases. And to wrap it all up, we'll look at some really cool special cases you see all the time.
Okay, before we jump into the actual rules, we need to get to know the two main characters in this story. You've got the tool you use to call someone, and then you have the person or thing that's actually being called.
First up, we have the nida. Now, just think of this as the particle of calling. It's the word you use to grab someone's attention. Now, there are a few of them, but the most famous, the one everyone knows, is ya. It's basically the Arabic equivalent of saying oh or hey. For our purposes today, ya is going to be our star player.
And what about the person you're calling? Well, that's the munada. It's the noun that the nida particle is pointed at. And this is the important part, because the munada is the word that's actually going to change based on the rules we're about to get into.
So, to put it really simply, the nida is the tool, the munada is the target, ya is the particle you use, and the noun that comes right after it, that's the one being called. This whole relationship is the foundation for everything else. Got it? Good.
All right, let's get to our very first rule. This one is the most straightforward, and it's all about what happens when you call a simple, single name or a common noun. I kind of like to call this one the case of the vanishing tanween. So the rule is actually super simple. If the noun you're calling, the munada, normally ends with a tanween, you know, that double vowel marking that usually sounds like un, the ya comes in and just makes it disappear. It leaves behind just a single vowel, a dhamma, which gives you that oo sound. Let's look at it in action. A word like rajulun, which means a man, becomes ya rajulu, o man. A proper name like Zaidun becomes ya Zaidu. See that? The un sound just poof becomes oo. The tanween vanishes. Simple as that. That's rule number one.
Okay, let's level up. What happens if the person or thing you're calling is already defined with al? You know, the Arabic version of the. Well, you can't just say ya al-rajulu. It doesn't work that way. There's a special little step you have to take.
The process is actually pretty logical. First, you just have to check if the noun is masculine or feminine. Then, you insert a special little helper word right between ya and the noun. You're going to use ayyuha for masculine nouns and ayyutuha for feminine nouns.
So let's see what that looks like. If you want to call out to the people, and nasu, which is a masculine noun, you slide ayyuha in right after ya. And what you get is the famous phrase, ya ayyuhan nasu, which means, oh, you people.
And for a feminine noun, like a nafsu, the soul, you use the feminine helper word, ayyatuha. This gives you, ya ayyatuhan nafsu. You've probably heard this one from the Quran. It means, oh, tranquil soul. It's a beautiful example of this rule in practice. Okay, on to our third and final major rule. This one deals with possessive phrases, something known in Arabic grammar as muraqab idafi. We're talking about phrases like servant of God or our Lord. With these, we see a totally different kind of change happen.
So here's the key. When your munada is a possessive phrase, the very first noun in that phrase, it changes its grammatical case. It shifts from the default nominative case to what's called the accusative case or mansub. And the biggest sign of this change? That last vowel flips to a fatha, giving you an A sound. Let's look at some classic examples. The phrase Abdullahi, the servant of Allah, becomes Ya Abdullahi when you call it. Did you hear that? The on abd changed to an a. Same thing with Rabbuna, our Lord. When you call it, it becomes Ya Rabbana, O our Lord. That little vowel shift is the telltale sign of this rule.
So, now that we've got the three big rules down, let's have some fun and look at a couple of special cases where things get a little more creative. These are the kinds of exceptions and advanced uses that you'll see and hear all over the place.
Get this, sometimes the ya is just gone. It's completely left out, but the call is still perfectly understood. So how do you know it's a call? The grammar gives it away. A perfect example is the word Rabbana in so many prayers. That ah sound at the end of Rabb, that's our clue. It tells us the word is in the accusative case, which means there's a hidden ya right before it. So the meaning is, O our Lord, even when the O isn't actually there. Pretty cool, right?
And then there's this incredibly special particle of calling Allahumma. This one is unique for two big reasons. First, it's used only and exclusively to call upon Allah. You can't use it for anyone else. And second, look at this. Unlike ya, the calling particle, that emphasized ma sound is actually attached to the end of the name, not put before it. It completely flips the script. It's a truly unique form of nida.
Whew, okay, that was a good bit of information, I know. But when you really boil it down, everything we talked about comes back to 3 fundamental rules. Let's just do a super quick recap to make sure they stick.
So here are the 3 big takeaways. 1. For simple names, you drop the tanween. 2. For nouns with al, you have to add your helper, ayyuha or ayyataha. And 3. For those possessive phrases, that first noun flips to the accusative case. If you can remember these 3, you've honestly mastered the core of calling in Arabic. So I'll just leave you with this one question to chew on. Now that you've seen the system working behind the scenes, the nida and the munada, think back. Think about prayers you've recited, songs you've heard, or just conversations you've been a part of. What phrases are suddenly clicking into place and making perfect grammatical sense to you now?